Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is King Geo in the house. How you guys doing? This is a live today. Today's title is Walk to the White House. Walk to the White House. But before I start that, I want to tell you guys, do not forget that I have the giveaway coming up. The Call of Duty Cold War. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel and put down whether you want digital or CD. I have to put a young man who spoke to me too. Why not speak to me? He left me a message. Well, anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit about the road to that's what about the road to the White House, right? But for some, for others, the walk to the White House. I put down walk to the White House. But it's interesting because there are a lot of people who I see that hey, Princess Cammy, there's a lot of people that I see that are Republicans, right? And they tell me that they've done their research and that they're going to vote red because it's more it aligns to their belief in God, and the Republican Party is more lenient to God. It leans more towards God, and I'm like, whatever floats your boat. If that's the excuse that you want to give, that the Republicans are conservative in the sense that they hold the word of the Bible. Hey, that's on you. Apparently, most of those people who say things like that don't actually read the Bible or have read the Bible. But it's not their fault. It's not their fault, But it's funny because I was talking to a girl today on Facebook, and she was telling me that the reason that she's going red is because, all right, Princess, the reason she's going red is because, like I said before, the Republican Party is more conservative. They lean more towards the Bible, and she says that she believes in marriage between a man and a woman, not a man and a man, a woman and a woman. Biden does. Biden is and that she believes in no abortions, and Biden is pro-life. Okay. You fixed it out. So she says she's the Biden is pro-life. So I said, okay, fine. Biden is pro-life. But people are trying to tell me, okay, when they say, oh, the Bible says this, oh, the Bible says that. The Bible never spoke anything about abortion. Okay. It never speaks about it. The Bible does says, thou shalt not kill. And the thing that, and when I said that to her, she said to me that God said, I knew you before you were born, before you were in your mother's womb. So that the embryo or fetus is a life. And that, yes, it is. But I told her, but you can't. So, and then I told her, so if you're going to take that action with me, or you're going to take that perspective, and you believe abortion it's against God. So, and then the act of having that kid without being married is also a sin, because the Bible says, don't have impurity. What was it? Impurity. Impurity in mind. And I'm gonna get it because I was reading this earlier on, so I wanted to get it right. I don't do it, Princess Carmen, because I'm a stern believer that politics is politics and religion is religion, But this is the way that people are. So when they hold on. Okay, so when people say, "Oh, the Bible says that," the Bible says that, and I tell them, this show is about the walk to the White House, bro. Alex Torres, or if you're a girl, lady, because Alex is both names. Sexual immorality. That's what it is. Sexual immorality. Now you could take that sexual immorality, and the Bible does says that Jesus prefers you to to husband have to man to have a wife, and a wife has a husband. So that's the analogy that I give it. So when it says thou shalt not kill, God means don't go out there and go killing people. That's what that means. It doesn't mean you cannot have an abortion. It doesn't say anything about an abortion. It doesn't say anything about this. It doesn't say anything about that. God wants you to be married. God wants you to have kids in your marriage because it's important. As you can see, kids, if you have, most likely, if you have a parent, both parents are in the kid's life instead of one, that creates more stability for the child. That's my belief. I don't know. I have not Googled it up, but that's what I believe. So when they tell me these things and they, oh, God, this. Listen, the Bible says, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. When you mix religion with politics, that never works out. And then she tells me, oh no, that ever since Donald Trump went into the presidency, the Oval Office has been doing worshiping and has been doing worshiping is one thing, and believing in God is another thing. Donald Trump can tell you that he's doing this and doing that, but he's only doing it so he can get evangelicals in. So he can say, oh, this is Donald Trump believes in God. Donald Trump does this, so I'm going to go with him. No, Donald Trump is a player. Donald Trump will tell you what he wants you to hear because he knows what he wants you to hear. He was talking about money. What do you mean money, Alex? Oh, you're talking about Caesar? Yes, because Jesus was talking about when they were crossing the bridge and they had to pay a tax. I know that, but in reality, that's what you do. You give to the government what belongs to the government, and you give to God when you give to God. When you mix religion with politics, that never works out. Never works out. Because you cannot compare it, because the thought of a man is not the same as the thought of God. You may say, exactly, manipulation. You may say, I read the Bible, I read this, I read that, but you have to do all those things. Those things are not done. If you look at our system, most of our system is corrupt. So to say that this person is a Catholic, or this person maybe a Catholic, maybe a Protestant, maybe a Mormon, but that person is, you don't know. Sometimes the person dips from this pocket, takes from that pocket, takes from that pocket, and that's a godly man. That's a man or woman that you chose to vote for, to represent you. So you cannot do that. So when I say what God said, get Caesar what belongs to Caesar and what God belongs to God, that's a metaphor. What I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You give to the government what belongs to the government. I don't put my belief. That's why I don't follow religion. I'm a Christian, and I follow what God says, and I try to abide by Him saying. I'm not going to go, well, you know what? I'm not going to vote for him because he doesn't believe that whatever my belief is. No, I'm going to vote for him because I think he or she is the best person to fit this job. The best person to fit this job. Is Donald Trump the best to fit? No. Is Joe Biden best to fit? I would say no, because at his age, no, he's been there for 47 years. This is the third time he's run for president. I just said, there's a vibe about him that I don't like. But I gotta choose the lesser of two evils. So I gotta go with Biden. And yes, I'm tired of Kamala. I'm tired of Trump. I didn't vote for Hillary. I wasn't going to vote for Hillary anyway because we already had one Clinton in office. So I wasn't going to vote in 2016. I wasn't going to vote for Hillary. I didn't. At the first term of Barack Obama, I didn't like him because he was inexperienced. When people tell me Trump has done this for the black community or this person has done that for the black community, this person, and none of them. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna stick with Trump. Joe did a lot of see, but you cannot say Princess Kami, you cannot say that Joe Biden has done a lot of bad things because you have to look at his track record. He's been there for 47 years. He has done something right. He hasn't done everything right. None of them have. None of them have. But he's done something right. So when I'm saying that, I'm tired of when people say, when even black people tell me, oh, he's done a lot for the black community, or Joe has done a lot for the black community, or this person. No, they have done nothing for the black community. I look forward to a day that a person who has come from the slums, who has lived the streets, came from nobody and became president of the United States. And then I can tell you, I'm going to vote for that guy. Even if he's a Republican, I'm going to vote for him because you know what? Because I know he knows what it takes to go from here, down here, all the way up here. He knows what the struggle is. He knows what it is to work in maybe in a factory from 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning to 2. He knows all that. He knows what it is. I have to save every penny that I got. Every penny that I got. My dad, when my dad used to work for $3.35 an hour. I remember that back in the 80s. For $3.35 an hour. None of these guys has ever worked for $3.35 an hour. None. So while they delay the stimulus check and they do all this for the people that are suffering, they're getting their paycheck every 2 weeks. Nancy Pelosi's worth $13 million. $13 million. Mitch McConnell is worth, I think, $20 million. Think about that. So why are these people who are rich have to be in politics? Why can't someone who has struggled be in it? Which there probably are some. I'm gonna show you something about that I took a screenshot, and it was very interesting because Joe Biden made like a 91 amendment, forgot how to spell it. It was really sexist. He was demonetizing. Yeah, but Princess Kami, but have you seen the comments that Donald Trump said in 2016? He said a lot of racist stuff, and people still went for it. He put women down. He talked bad about women. He made fun of a handicapped man on live TV. All right, look at this. I want to show you these pictures so you can see this. So you guys can see this. I want you to see these pictures, right? Look at them. I'm gonna start with this guy right. I'm gonna start with this guy right here. This guy, where it says lobbyist. All right. This is how supposedly Trump is a man. It's a smart man. So the first one, you're gonna see right there. Look, I'm gonna show you right here. Okay. So it says the first one is an oil lobbyist. He now runs the Department of Interior. What does he have at experience? None. The other one is a coal lobbyist. He is now head of the EPA. The other one is a big pharma executive. He runs Health and Human Services. The other guy is a Boeing executive. He is the Secretary of Defense. The other one is a lady. She's a billionaire, Harris. She runs the Department of Education. And Mnuchin is a bank executive, and he runs the Secretary of Treasury. So to him, you could say because he's secretary. He knows about money. But the other ones know nothing. None of them know. The other ones know nothing about the position they're in. But yeah, because they got money. All right, Princess Kami. Because they have money, they're with Trump, or Trump picked them. So when people when I try to make the argument, people that why are you voting for Trump? They say a lot of dumb things, and it just befuddles me. It really does. To know that people are that gullible. When you have, when Donald Trump is saying this is fake news, and when Donald Trump is saying this is a hoax, and then you have millions of people saying this is fake news and this is a hoax, yet that tells me that you're following that man. So everything that he says, you're repeating. So you don't have a mind of your own to speak. It's fake news. No, how could it be fake news if the news itself tells you? Each outlet is different. Each outlet represents differently, but they're telling you there's proof. Okay, there's no proof that Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton spied on his campaign, spied on him, but yet he keeps on saying he was spied on. But there is no proof. The other one that I was going to show you because I like to show people with proof. I don't like to argue, because the thing that we are talking about with this girl was about Candace. Okay, good.
During his 2016 campaign, Donald Trump pretended like he cared. During his 2016 campaign, Donald Trump.
Read this. I want you to hear this. So all you guys who think that jobs are great, that he brought back jobs here, just listen to this.
During his 2016 campaign, Donald Trump pretended like he cared about the Americans who lost jobs as a result of outsourcing, companies who sent jobs overseas in search for cheap labor. And he claimed that he was going to bring those jobs back. That's what Donald Trump is all about. Except if you take a look at his actions and, maybe ignore some of the circus that he engages in to distract us, you'll notice that he's actually done quite the opposite and has rewarded companies that have continued to ship jobs overseas. According to Common Dreams, Donald Trump has awarded more than $425 billion in federal contracts to corporations responsible for offshoring 200,000 jobs held by U.S. workers. And that's according to a new report by Public Citizen. All of you guys should be reading everything that
$425 billion he gave out. $425 billion. Well, that money could have been used here. That money you could have given companies tax breaks so the company can stay here. And that's another thing I want to talk about, the tax break. That you guys all think that it's because he gave a tax break, we are better off, and we're not. GDP wise, we're not. So let's keep on listening.
Comes out from Public Citizen. They do great work, and this is the exact type of story.
Well, see, there you go. Don't believe nothing. They're all fake. They're not all fake, because this is public record. This is something that you can research yourself. This is not, now it's fake. If you go look for it and you don't find it, then you're like, then that's fake. But when you do the research and it's there, because all this is public record, all this has to be public record, and then you'll know. But don't say it's fake and you don't do the research.
That should be covered by every single outlet, because this is the type of story that actually impacts everyday Americans who are in fact losing their jobs as a result to this corporate greed. The report states that the Trump administration awarded an average of 2.5 times the amount, or $10 billion more in contracts, to firms that offshored during his term than those that did not. And, just want to remind everyone of what Trump campaigned on and bragged about after he was elected.
Yeah. Companies are not going to leave the United States anymore without consequences. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to allow it to happen again. We are going to stop it. They're taking our jobs. They're taking everything. And we will also provide tax credits to bring jobs out of China back to America, and we will impose tariffs on any company that leaves America to produce jobs overseas. We will make sure our companies and jobs stay in our country, as I've already been doing for quite some time, if you've noticed.
Have you noticed, Anna?
I've noticed that if he considers,
and that's not fake. All you have to do is look it up. So he outshored 200,000 jobs at a bill of $425 billion. $425 billion. Wow. That's a lot of money. To offshore jobs are supposed to be here, and they're not. When he was doing when he was having the battle with China with the tariffs, who lost in that battle? Farmers. Farmers lost in that battle. Farmers lost. So some farmers lost everything. Some farmers lost next to everything because most of the products that farmers have are shipped to China. China buys our product, our beans, our tomatoes, that kind of stuff. They buy it from us. So when he was having his tariff war with China, China was not buying anything. So if China's not buying, these guys are not making any money. So you saw a lot of farmers with the whole sheds and stuff like that full of their food, something that hasn't been seen in years. Because why? Because this guy was having a tariff war with China. With China, a man who owes China, by the way, because he got loans from China. So he owes China. And that's his personal loan. And that was one. Who remember this? All right, who remember this?
To your knees.
yes.
Beg to do this.
It's a pretty picture you dropped.
John and Dennis thought I should be. Omarosa said me.
Idea that my daughters wouldn't have the same opportunities as somebody's sons? Well, that's unacceptable. That's not acceptable.
I mean, we could say politically correct that the look doesn't matter, but the look obviously matters. Like you wouldn't have your job if you weren't beautiful.
We all have to be louder than the voices that are telling our girls they're not good enough. That they've got to look a certain way, or they've got to act a certain way.
You know who's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everybody, and I helped create her?
Who?
Ivanka. My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
She's hot.
I've got a vested interest in making sure that our daughters have the same opportunities as boys do.
A person who's flat-chested is very hard to be a 10. Okay.
I was raised by a single mom. And know what it was like for her to raise two kids.
What father goes on TV or what father says, "Oh, my daughter has a hot body"? Who says that?
Go to work at the same time and try to piece things together without a lot of support.
I did try and fuck her. She was married. I moved on her like a bitch. I couldn't get there, and she was married.
They said, how are you going to change the pageant? And I said, I'm going to get the bathing suits to be smaller and the heels to be higher.
Playing like a girl means you're a badass.
Ever been with a black woman? Had to. Yes.
When women of color aren't given the opportunity to live up to their God-given potential, we all lose out on their talents. We're not as good a country as we can be.
You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
And you're going to have more kids?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
What do you need that headache for?
Because I like kids. I mean, I won't do anything to take care of them. She'll think I'll supply the funds and she'll take care of the kids, right?
You see, I wouldn't do anything to take care of them, but I supply the funds. That's a man that's running this country, really? That's the way he speaks about women and about having his kids? Come on, man. And that's him talking. That's not fake. That's him talking. So, and like I said before, I don't like either of them, but I'm not going to vote for Trump. If you had somebody else that would have been running against him, that would have been in the Republican Party, I probably would have, depending on who it was and what they stand for, I would vote for them. But as of now, that's not happening. It's not going to happen. And it can't happen anyway. So you gotta go with Biden. You know, at 72 years old or 77 years old, I mean, that's kind of old. Nothing happens, and then Kamala Harris takes over. Which Kamala Harris is not a bad person. I don't know I know her background somewhat, but I don't know her whole thing, so cannot say. But even the Republican Party doesn't like Donald Trump. He is a disgrace to the Republican Party. But the only reason that they abide by what he says is because it's election year. They're afraid, and they're going to do what he said because he's the head of the Republican Party. You see, when you take the interest of this man and not the interest of your constituents, that's when it's bad. Because if I was a Republican, I said, well, I don't like President Trump. I don't like his ideas. I don't like what he says. And if he says, well, I don't like you, I'm going to give you bad press, do what you got to do. I'm here for the people who voted me in. I'm not here for you. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people who got me elected. You know? And that's the way it should be. But no, they're there for their own interest. They're there because they get paid every 2 weeks. No matter what happened, they get health insurance. They have a good when they can retire young. Look at Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan did 20 years in Congress, and he retired at the age of 40 something. I think it was 42, 46, something like that. And then he got a full pension. A full pension at the age of let me see. Let me see. So he's 50. So Paul Ryan is 50 now, right? 50 years old. Until 2019, to last year. So look at that. His net worth is $7.8 million. $7.8 million. Look at that. Mitch McConnell, he's 78 years old. He is worth this. He's worth $30 million. $30 million. But yet when he wants to, when the government needs money, he doesn't, do you think he cares? None of the most, I would say a good 85% of these politicians, they don't care. Trust me, because if they care, they wouldn't be politicians. They would do something for the community. Kamala Harris, she would have done something for the community. All of them would have done something for the community because they're known. You know, to say that Trump represents me or that Joe Biden represents me, no, Joe Biden does not represent me. And neither does Donald Trump. May represent the country. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's got to work. At the end of the day, I got to be the one that busts my ass. At the end of the day, no matter what they do, I still got to bring money to the house because I have bills to pay. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You know, and we're living now. Like I said before, we can't put religion with politics, and you can't. There's a lot of things that you don't mix with politics, and that's what we're doing in this election, and that's been with all elections. And when you do that, you know, I got endorsed by the Episcopal Church or this church, and that's not good when they're involved in when religion is involved in this, and it's not good for the country. It's not good for the soul. Because you're putting more attention to this person than you are to God. You know, if you want to be in politics, that's cool. Be in politics, but don't take your religious belief into it. Don't take none of that into it. Just do what you think is best for your constituents. What you think is right. Thinking of them as a collective. And yes, there are people who need help individually. So you got to try to help. You got to try to help those. But it's just it comes to a point that you say, but none of these people really do care about me. And at the end of the day, they really don't. Because if they care about you, every 4 years we wouldn't have to be going through the same monotony, the same thing over and over again. Because every 4 years is immigration. They talk about immigration. They talk about health. They talk about this, but they never talk about crime. They don't talk about that. They talked about it this year because of the things that were happening with the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor. I gotta give also, there's not a lot of talk with Amaya Braxton, the young girl, the young child that got run over in Mississippi, and no charges were brought up to the lady. Her name is Karen Carpenter. So all that we don't know. I mean, all that's always. I mean, all those things are always talked about every 4 years. The same four things: health, jobs. It never changes. It never changes. Now, at the end of the term, Donald Trump is saying that he signed an order for pharmaceuticals to sell their products here cheaper. Why didn't he do that 3 years ago? Everybody knows. Everybody knows that the medicine here in the United States is far more expensive than any part of the world, I guess. Everybody knows that. So it takes you to the end of the year. To the end of your term, right? Like a month before the elections, for you to decide that you're going to do this, that the companies are gonna done now the drugs that you use, the pills that you use are going to be much more cheaper. When that could have been done years ago. He talks about that he reformed the prison system. No, he did not reform the prison system. He changed and he tweaks some of the federal laws for inmates, but that's just federal inmates. That's not for general population. That's not for anyone who's in prison. And it wasn't a big change. No jail time close. No jail time to close to those people who get arrested for marijuana. Other jail sentences are lowered for non-violent crimes, federal crimes. Which most federal crimes are non-violent. So I do these lives so someone can come to them, to come to me and tell me, hey, King Gio, I want to vote for him, for Barack Obama because of this. Barack Obama, Joe Biden because of this. I want to vote for Donald Trump because at the end of the day, to me, it don't matter who you vote for. I'm still going to respect your decision. That's your decision. That's how you want to vote. Cool. We agree to disagree, but that doesn't mean just because you want to vote for Trump, I don't like you. Or you're going to vote for Biden, I don't like you. No. You got to vote for who you think is best, right? But I'm telling you why I'm not going to vote for Trump. And hopefully that make it. If you're undecided, always do your research. Research is like when they do a new drug and they do everything like this. You have to do the research in order to make sure that that it's true. You just can't blame someone. Just because someone got arrested for this doesn't mean he really did it. He just got arrested. They put it in the newspaper. You got to research what happened and what evidence they have against them. Those kind of stuff before you start making judgment. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. If you look at the Republican Party and you see the Republican people, most of these people don't know what they're talking about. And everything they talk about is that Donald Trump said this and Donald Trump said that. Not one Republican that ever told me something has told me something about what they thought. It's always either it's fake news because that's what Donald Trump spews, or they spotted me, that's something that he said, or something that Donald Trump said, they will repeat it to me. Said, none of them has ever talked to me something genuine as to why they are going to vote for Donald Trump or why they like Donald Trump. Don't be telling me, because Donald Trump, this was said, that was said, this was said. No, I like people to think for themselves. You can't, the way this campaign, I mean, the way this is going, this is you know, the way this is going, they were like, they're telling you what to think, they're telling you what to say, and it's up to you to investigate. It's up to you to do the research. You know, because you want to make sure when you go to an operator or you go to a doctor and he diagnosed or she diagnosed you with something, you go to another doctor to get another opinion. If that doctor tells you the same thing or 2 or 3 doctors tell you the same thing, then that's what it is. So you do your research. Did Donald Trump really do this? Did Donald Trump really do that? Did Donald Trump really do this? Okay, going back to the tax break that he so-called said that was going to help America back in 2006. So when he did that in 2017, that the tax break went in, the tax code came in, only 20% of the population of the United States, not the population, I'm sorry, only 20% of the people, businesses and stuff like that, benefited from that tax break. So if 80% of those people benefited from those tax breaks, what happened to the other 80%? And if you do your research, you will see that his plan with the tax break, it's nothing compared. It has not helped. It has not helped our economy. It has not helped the GDP, which is the same thing as the economy. It has not helped us at all. But this is the platform that he ran. You know, he ran on a platform that he was going to build the wall. And that Mexico was going to pay for it. You know, and people believe that Mexico was actually going to pay for it. Do you think a country is going to pay you for something that you're making? No. You got to be stupid. The wall is important. We have to keep illegals out. That's with every country there is. You know, if you want to come to this country, you should do it legally. You know, but you have to secure our borders because it's true. Anyone can come in through our borders. But what a lot of people don't know is, I don't know if things have changed now, but more people at one time, more people came in through the borderline of Vermont. More Muslims came in through there than what Muslims coming through Mexico. I don't know if that's a fact now, but I know 5 or 6, I think it was 6 years ago, I did research and I saw that more people come from Vermont, from Canada, which is close to it, from that side, from the north, than they would from Mexico. So, you know, you have a big borderline. I mean, you got New York, you got all those states that are up there that are close to Canada, that connects to Canada. You know, you can jump over a fence. I mean, you know, there is ways. But, you know, so if more Arabs and more those Muslims are coming more from the north than they are from the south, then what you should fear? I mean, but we should have a strong border. Yes, I do agree with that. You know, we need stronger borders. You know, we want to come. That's the only thing I did that I can agree with him or with anyone. You want to come to this country, you got to come legally. You know, because we have a hard time feeding our own, taking care of our own. Now we got to take care of other people's kids. Other people, then they come here and then they have kids, and then the kids go because they're American citizens. Now they got the rights to welfare. They got the rights to food stamps. They got the rights to Section 8. You know. While other people who are working, I've known people who have worked all their life, they got laid off or working, and they needed that extra boost to help them because, you know, the money's tight, so they couldn't buy food, so they applied for food stamp while they were working, and they said, "Oh, we can't give you food stamp because you make $1 extra, or you make $1 more than you're supposed to. You're over the threshold." Can you imagine that? A person that just came into this country illegally, her kids get everything. And a person who's worked all his life, or her life, when they do apply, because they really do need it. They get denied because either they make too much or blah 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 blah. So we have to look out for our own. It's nothing wrong with giving, but you have to. I believe that if you got 2 hands and 2 feet, you can work. I believe that food stamps, those are for people who really need food stamps. People who really, if you're homeless, then you need food stamps. I believe in a system that, you can't be living in the projects all your life. If I would have been like president, I would have kicked some of these people out because they lived there for 20, 30 years. You could have bought a house for what you're paying. But they just, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink it, and it's true. So the road to the White House has become this titter tatter of I'm better than you, you're better than me. But I mean, come on. We all know Trump has lied. We all know Trump is a liar. Why are you following this man? Why? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Come on now. I don't think it is. We gotta find out, man. November 3rd. Well, now you can do mail-in voting. So if you got yours in the mail, I'm going to vote in person. So I'm not going to do that. Let me see something. I want to see if I can invite some guests. And tomorrow's live is going to be different. So we'll talk about something different tomorrow. I don't want to keep the monotony. And the confirmation of the hearing of the judge. That's something interesting because in 2016, Mitch McConnell was one of the ones that said that we shouldn't, when Barack Obama nominated, I forgot who it was, and they said no, gotta wait until after the elections, and they did. So now that we're before the elections, and RDG passed away, they could have waited, but being that there's a case coming up on the 17th, I think it is, something like that. They want to speed up so they can take away from what they're saying is the Affordable Care Act, ACA. So there's a lot of things that's going on in this 2020 presidential run that it's funny. And then what's funny is that this man has this obsession with Barack Obama. Everything he talks about is Barack Obama. He has an obsession. I'm telling you, an obsession and a half. And it's kind of amazing. And then he makes a commercial, a campaign commercial, saying that they're doing they outdoing the rest of the world. That when things shit, when the virus came, he did this, he did that. It's a little too late, and then at the end, he had Dr. Fauci. He took a little piece of what Dr. Fauci said in one interview, because he didn't put the whole thing. He just took that one little piece and try to make it as if, because being that a lot of people like Fauci, he figures, well, if Donald Trump puts Fauci on, so I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because Fauci's a cool guy. You know, something to that effect. You know. So that's what I did with that. I was just looking for the card for the names that I have on for my giveaway. I have another one anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So November 13th is the giveaway, guys. So subscribe to my channel and put down whether you want if you want the PS the game out of digital, or if you want it with a disc, or if you want a disc version. Hey, Anna, she came on a minute.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? What you doing? Welcome.
Nothing. Just hold up. Let me get up and go to my correct stance.
You can lay down. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it.
So what's up? What you talking about tonight?
Nothing. I was just talking about Trump because I did a little message earlier on today about Amaya. I did a video on Amaya this morning. Well, not this morning, actually this afternoon. You know, so I put down a video. I said, Mississippi, wake up. You got to do something.
I mean, what is there to talk about Trump? I mean,
oh no. It's just tiring because like yesterday you put down you put a comment. What was it? That was a comment. Oh, they're both bad. I know they're both bad, but to choose the lesser of both evils, I might as well just go for Biden because I'm not gonna go for Trump. You know?
Yeah.
None of them, to be honest with you, none of them care about anyone. If that's their own agenda. You know, at the end of the day, I gotta work for me, you gotta work for you, and everybody's gotta work for themselves.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, what I'm saying about a lot of people are pretending like Trump is this existential evil or he's an aberration. He's not. The only difference between him and Obama and George W. Bush and George Sr. and all of them is he says the quiet parts out loud. And a lot of people are not used to hearing the quiet parts said out loud.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me because that's actually a good thing to do. You know,
yeah.
In a sense that I don't believe this is it. If I were either a Democrat or a Republican and I ran for office, just because you're the president of the United States, I don't have to agree with you with everything.
No, I don't mean like that. What I mean,
no, I know what you. I know what you mean. But what I'm trying to say is that most of these people, when they go out to, like, just like right now with the stimulus and all this, there's fights here, there's fights there, about what's going on. This party wants something here, and this party wants something there. But think about it this way: Mitch McConnell is worth $30 million. Nancy Pelosi is worth $13 million. Do you actually think they give two shits? But it's
No.
they're doing it for political. For political. If you're that rich, why the fuck you got to go into politics? You know?
Well, so, but you got to remember, they weren't rich when they went into politics. They became rich as they stayed. So you got to remember, a lot of them were not rich before they got in there. But you got to remember with their donors, with speaking engagements and stuff like that. They weren't
Yeah, but
rich.
I don't think Mitch McConnell got $30 million just because he's doing politics.
Yeah, but he wasn't that rich when he went in. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you look at, I'm not saying he was a poor person. What I'm saying, he wasn't as rich as he is now. Like, what her name is, Dianne Feinstein. She's one of the richest people within the Senate. A lot of times with that, you got to remember that.
Feinstein, she's with that last name, Stain.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a lot of, okay, for instance, if you hang around a certain people, they're going to give you a certain amount of education on certain things. That's why her, Loeffler, and all of them got caught up with, because Loeffler is married to the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. And so when you roll in certain circles, you're going to learn, and they're going to take care of themselves. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they were poor when they joined, but I can tell you for damn sure they didn't have the money that they have now. Believe that one.
Well, no, that part I know.
Yeah.
Well, I just gotta look into more to see how much he was worth before he got. Most of them are lawyers anyway.
Yeah. And then the thing about it is, with some of them, like for instance, what's his name? The one that's a libertarian that was just talking. I forget what his name is. Rand Paul, right?
Yeah.
He's an ophthalmologist. So he was a doctor, but his dad was within politics. So all that happened was more of a monarchy type of nepotism type of situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to see that. A lot of the times, these guys are no smarter or no richer than anybody else. They just have the connects to get where they're getting. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I mean, Trump was a real dickhead for talking about Hunter Biden. But let's be clear, the only reason why Hunter Biden got that money, that $50,000 a month, was because of his last name. The only reason why Chelsea Clinton is on these boards is because her last name is Clinton. The only reason why John Kerry's sons and Rudy Giuliani's son, a whole bunch of them, the only reason why they got what they got is because of their names.
Well, I agree with you there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Their name's whole clout.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times, like I try to tell people about running for office, the only difference between you and them is that they had the connects. They knew to do certain things. And, they didn't pull themselves up from their own bootstraps. Let's be clear about that. They didn't. So, what job did Ivanka Trump ever have?
No, I know. That's what I was talking. That's what I was talking about earlier. I said, when are we gonna get someone, someone who really, really came from down here and came up here?
Well, we do.
And is in the Senate or is a president. And you can say, you know what? He's going to be president of the United States, so I'm going to vote for him because he knows what it is to wake up in the morning. He knows what it is to work in a factory. He knows what it is to hustle in the streets, and he made it.
Well, what we did, we had AOC. We have AOC right now, but they.
But they don't like her because she's a socialist. People are stupid.
Yeah, what I'm saying about AOC is this: AOC was a bartender.
Yeah, bartender.
And she worked, but they make fun of her saying, "Oh, y'all gonna listen to this bartender? Isn't that what y'all tell?" Because this is the thing; they're always gonna change the goalpost. Okay, I was a bartender. I went to college. I was the top of my class, and now I'm in the House of Representatives. But because she was a bartender, they bring up you're gonna listen to this bartender. And because she's young, of course she has to be stupid. Because she's a female, of course she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Exactly. Right.
So at the end of the day, if it's not one of them, they're gonna make sure that you're never gonna rise above your station. So that's why racism and classism fit hand in hand.
That's true. That is very
So
true. And then you
that's
put
why
that post. You put that post also about that kid that got killed Saturday in Orlando, in Florida.
no, he didn't get killed, he was lynched. Let's be
No, Lynch and killed. The same thing. He got killed. At the end of the day,
no. The reason why I say that is because the simple fact of the matter is that maybe to you being lynched and being killed is the same thing, but not for us and not for the black community. The
okay, I
fact
got
of
you.
the
There. I know what you mean.
you know what I'm saying? For us, the reason why they lynch people and go to that simple fact is to torture and to show people
Mhm.
this is what we're gonna do to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course they do.
He wasn't just killed, he was lynched. They beat him up just like the other, it was a transgender man that was lynched. It was Black Lives Matter, one of the sons from the Black Lives Matter um a movement out there in Ferguson. I think her son was killed himself, and it's like the young girl that went into the woods to kill herself. And
No, I did. When I read that report, I was like, in Orlando that happened, and I looked at it and it said that the coroner's office said it was a suicide, but yet his teeth were knocked out and he was tied behind his back. Hello.
yeah,
Well, what is he, a magician?
but that's the
And
thing
then
that
and then and then and then and then and then I put on YouTube. Most, I haven't. This is my experience from what I've read on suicide. Most people that commit suicide, that they do it somewhere where they feel comfortable, either their homes or that, because he sent out a message to their family. No one's going to experience, and I said this very clear. No black person is going to go up to a tree and hang themselves. That they're not going to do that.
I was just
You can tell me, and it's in the house, yeah.
yeah,
But that just sends out a bad message. So he was lynched. The other black guy, I think there was two black guys in California that were
yep,
also lynched,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
said they
I
were
mean, there's a whole
suicide.
bunch of people that happened to. But what I can say to you is I always tell my people, I tell my husband, if they tell you that I went to City Hall to lynch myself, excuse me, to hang myself, that's a damn lie. So these are the things we have to tell people when you're doing this work. And I think I said this to you before, that before we leave the house, we have to have certain conversations. If dumb people tell you I reached for a cop's gun, that's a lie. If those people tell you that I killed myself and then somehow my teeth were broken out, my hands was behind my back, that's a lie. And like I said, this is not the first time. It's what it is. Just like the guy that got killed in Iowa, they're trying to say that wasn't racially motivated. I don't know how stupid you think we are, and this is why voting is important. Because I don't know if I told you this, but in Mississippi, you don't have to have any medical experience to be a coroner. This is the situation that happened with George Floyd. And that coroner, or I don't know if it was a coroner or a medical examiner, said that he died from an overdose and a heart attack, which we all know that's a lie. But this is why voting is important, because these are the things that they can do. And that because certain people, depending on your education or because of classism, people just believe it. Like, damn that. Same thing that happened with Brianna. They trying to make it seem like she had a gun and that's why she got shot. Then the boyfriend shot the cop, and now we know the boyfriend didn't shoot the cop. So, it all goes back to paying
The
attention to,
Brianna case was handled. The judge should be fired. The
yeah,
DA should be fired,
yeah,
because that case right there. If you're in law enforcement, before they even got to the house, they should have made sure that that man was inside that house.
Right.
Because that would because not the saying that the warrant that her name was on the warrant too.
Well,
But even if that's the case, the way they did it, the way they got that warrant was not the correct way. And the
well,
judge
they lied on
saw
it.
that.
They lied.
Huh?
I said they lied.
Oh, I know they had to lie because me, if I was the judge, I wouldn't be giving you a warrant on that basis. How do you know that person is there? How do you know? Because the postmaster said that they haven't done anything illegal there.
Right.
But tell me, you got somebody out there? You can say, yes, we just verified today that he's at the house right now as we speak.
Right.
He's at the house, so we got people looking. Okay, fine. I'm gonna sign you the warrant. You go, whether it's a no knock warrant or whatever they give me, but at least you have it legit. Most of these guys, they don't do that. They just want to go in for the kill, and most people said that they didn't identify themselves.
No, they didn't. It was only one person. It was only one. They talked to 12 people. So out of 12 people, one person said they identified themselves. But they also don't say that it was after talking to that person 3 times that one person said that they
After 3 times, right? Not the first 2. After the 3rd time. Right. Yeah, no. After a couple of beatdowns, you motherfucker, you better say.
Exactly. And that was the only person that they put in front of the grand jury. So, and then the fact that the Daniel Cameron, they put Daniel Cameron out there on purpose because remember we talked before. So now all the anger goes to that other black person versus who we know is turning the gears behind this. And I mean this. I don't want to say monkey in that way, but I'm talking about how the little monkey that you just wind up.
He claps. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not calling him a monkey. I'm just saying that wind up doll that he is. And so again, that's why voting is important and this is why gerrymandering and redistricting is that why they do that, so your vote doesn't matter.
A lot of people, that's what this is. A lot of people see voting as I'm gonna lose my vote. No, you're not. I'm different because I like to vote. When I vote, I like my vote to be counted. I like it to represent something. Like I said, out of both of them, I'm gonna have to go with Biden. I don't like either of them, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go for Biden. But like in Puerto Rico, when I voted in Puerto Rico, I voted for one candidate because I thought that candidate was going to do something for the whole. But he did shit. And I'm like, wow. And then the whole town that I'm in, that's all Republicans, right? And you have one Republican who's been there for 12 years and has done nothing. But yet, because they play the game every 4 years, let's vote for him because that's who we are. Not they don't vote because he doesn't have any ideas. None of that. The hometown is still the same way. They got nothing new. His whole entire family basically works for the municipality. Instead of having people from outside, people that he got the mayor of my town, Puerto Rico, has his daughter working for the Department of Education. She's the leader of the Department of Education. She knows nothing about it. His nephew works for sanitation, knows nothing about it. So they're putting these people in position, their family members, and they're taking away from people who've actually studied that field to give them that job, and they don't do it. I'm like, wow.
I mean, but nepotism, I mean, the thing about this is the thing, like Puerto Rico is in a precarious position, right? And it's odd to me that, in Puerto Rico, they would even vote for Republicans because most Republicans don't even see Puerto Rico as a part of the United States. You understand what I'm saying? And treat Puerto Rico like the redheaded stepchild, even though the reason why Puerto Rico is in the position that it's in is because of the continental United States. You see? The same reason.
I wouldn't say that because Puerto Rico, I lived there. Puerto Rico had chances, and I'm talking about chances to get out, and they just keep voting. I'll take you forward back. When Puerto Rico back in 2004, Puerto Rico enacted for the first time a sales tax.
Right.
They put a 7% sales tax, right?
Right.
So from 2004 all the way to 2012, when a new governor came in, that governor opened the books and said, "What happened? Where's the sales tax money from 2004 up to here?"
Right.
No one knew. No one knew where it was. So now there's no money. So now they have to take. Now they have now Puerto Rico went from a 7% sales tax all the way to a 12.5, the highest 12.5 in 1996. Bill Clinton told Puerto Rico the law 936, which is the law that used to give that gives companies like pharmaceutical companies
Right.
the right to keep their taxes with them, so they don't have to pay federal taxes. So they
Right.
said you got 10 years. You got 10 years. Then after that, it's done. So Puerto Rico, instead of saying, you know what, we got 10 years, so we're going to let those 10 years go by, and then the United States is not going to let that happen anyway. So instead of saying once those 10 years are up, we'll have we'll make our law, we'll make our own law, and
Right.
we'll have that law run concurrent with what's going on now, or consecutive. So once that law finishes, then we have our own law. So we give the same thing the United States is giving them. We give them the same thing, and they can stay here. They didn't do that. The Puerto Rico, as far as the Republicans, I mean the Republicans that want statehood, there are two. They are what I'm looking for. They're too dependent on the United States.
Right.
So
I mean,
when everything happens in the United States, they expect, oh, the United States is going to bail us out. We have a system in Puerto Rico that is antiquated. The electrical system, it's antiquated. You fart, and the light goes out.
Right.
But what happens is that's why all these senators and all these mayors, they get paid through the power company, which is the electric company and the water system. They don't fix that, but every year your light goes up. Every month your light goes up. You're like, where the hell is my money going to? I'm not using that much light because it's going to their pocket. It's going to the bonds, the shareholders. I mean, come on, this is business. If I tell you, you buy a certain amount of shares, but when we're gonna pay out, you don't have to worry about it, because when we pay out, we pay you guys out first,
Right.
and the rest of and then everybody else got to wait, and you pay no taxes on that. That's a good deal. That was a lot of bonds. That's a lot of people got bonds.
Right. I just, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I think that nepotism, greed, but I also don't feel like with Puerto Rico they're treated like they're American citizens, and
No, they're treated like shit. I tell you this much. When Donald Trump went to Puerto Rico and he threw those papers to the people, that was embarrassing.
I heard that those were the rich people, because from what I understand from the analysis was those people, it was like a fakeness about it. And with those, they were
because the governor of Puerto Rico took him to a place called Bayamon, and that place didn't even get touched, and that's where the rich people were.
That's what I was told, that the place that he took them, it was more of the richer people there, and
that's true.
Cell phones were charged up and they looked clean like nothing happened. And so that's what I'm saying, is that first of all, the way I look at it is the same way the United States treats Hawaii. The difference in, I'm gonna treat Texas one way, where I'm gonna treat these people. You know what I mean? And the simple fact of the matter is that we don't, depending on your demographics and who you are, I'm gonna treat your state in a certain way, or your territory a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of territories that if they're black or brown, we don't really give a damn. But let me segue into saying this to you, Gio. So on the 18th, we're having a National United Day. And that is in observance of the unity that Black people, brown people, and Native people need to have with one another, because a lot of the things that's affecting all of us affect all of us. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about police reform, when we're talking about ICE reform, or completely abolishing ICE, and the broken treaties that has happened with Native Americans and that are still happening, and how, you know, the all three of our communities are purposely disenfranchised, and that alone goes with the arm of law enforcement in whatever case that they manifest. So I ask you to, join us on the 18th of October. We're going to be doing hours at 5 o'clock at Vernon Damer Park. But the People's Revolution, they're going to be doing theirs a little bit earlier, and they're also going to be marching. So I ask you to tune in, and for your guests to your audience to tune in.
Yeah, I will.
Because we all, the thing about it is, and the reason why I changed gears is because the thing about it, a lot of us are sitting here, and you got the colorism part of it, you got the part of it where, the ethnicity part of it, you got the nationality part of it, and you got the racism part of it. And the fact of the matter is that, yeah, okay, they're messing with black people now, but guess what? Racism is like a game of tag. And when he's done with us, he's going to get to you. And then he's going to get to you. And then he's going to get to you. I mean, he as in not Donald Trump. I'm talking about America as a whole. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by that. And that if we sit here and allow things to, separate us at this point, and we are, well, our trauma was worse than Native Americans. Native Americans, they were worse than it. They got reparations. We didn't. We actually paid reparations and still pay it. You know what I'm saying? Or then, you have the immigration situation, or that people in Puerto Rico are not treated like American citizens at all. And so if we just look at who our open enemy is, which is not one another, because we don't own shit, and we're not in charge of shit. Let's be clear about that we need to figure out what we're going to do with one another. And so that's why we're doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely join.
Thank you. But back to what you were saying, my thing about this whole thing is that, everybody's trying to find somebody to shit on, at least I'm not this, at least I'm not that, at least I'm not this. But in the end, they don't like none of us. And, I was watching, it's this movie, I forget what the name of the movie is. And he was saying that it was was his Pesci? What's his first name? Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, and it was I forget what the other guy's name is. But they were talking to each other, and they were saying, well, the Spanish have this, the black people, he called us the N-words, of course. Matt Damon, it was him and Matt Damon talking. And he was like, even the N-words, they have their music and their dance. He's like, what do you white people have? He said, we have everything, because all y'all are visitors. And I'll send you the clip. And once we start understanding that, like I tell people, yes, this land was not white, but this country was made for white people. And until you start figuring that out, and figuring that everything that they do and anything that they make is going to be for white supremacy, and the things that's going on in Puerto Rico, the things that going on in Hawaii, the things that's going on in Alaska, the things that's going on in the territories and stuff like that, American imperialism, full blown.
Yeah, but some people don't see, like, it's like today celebrating Columbus Day.
Who's celebrating that?
I'm not celebrating. I'm just telling you, America in general. They gave a man who never landed here, never came here. There were people here before. The atrocities they committed in the Caribbean.
Right.
They're gonna give him celebration, and then I saw something that you put down. Looking at something. There's so much and this is why they don't do it now, and they never done it. This is why I like Black history, and I like history of other countries, because we miss out so much.
Well,
that
That's
you know, who are the, who as blacks and Hispanics growing up in school, who do we have to look up to? Not too many people, because they don't teach us. They teach us Martin Luther King. They teach us Malcolm X, a little bit of Malcolm X. There wasn't too much more about Malcolm X.
a little bit.
That's
I
what I
don't
said, a
hear
little
too much
bit,
about
not too
Malcolm
much.
X. Nah.
But Martin Luther King, there was always talked about Martin Luther King, and you know, him. You know, but you don't talk about the people who are science. I had to do this thing. I saw the movie with the girl from Empire that she played like 2 years ago. She did a movie where there were the four mathematicians. There were four black women and four mathematicians
Oh,
in the 70s.
hidden figures.
Yeah, I didn't know about that in school.
Neither
I had
did
to
we.
see the movie to actually know that
Katherine
existed.
Johnson. Which one? The Hidden Figures one? I have that. Oh no! So my husband was telling me to show you my signed copy of the book Hidden Figures, because like I said again, I didn't know. Nobody knew about that, and there was a woman
I didn't
also
even
that had something to do with the Navy, where the reason why they have nuclear. Hold on, I'll show you the book in a minute. They have nuclear subs is because of this black woman, and she's still alive.
They don't teach us that.
Yeah. See?
Okay. Margaret Lee Shirley. Did you read the book?
This is the book for Hidden Figures. See?
Did you read it?
Not yet. I'm going to read it. Right now, I'm in 3 books right now. So that's why I haven't read it yet.
You a bookworm.
Yes. Let me show you my library real quick. Can I turn this? I'm trying to see if I can turn this camera around, but I don't know how to turn. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn it around.
You can turn it around. What kind of phone you got? There you go. No, it took me out. She'll come back. It's not her fault. The device not connected.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You out there?
I don't know what I just did, but I don't know how to turn it around.
No, you see the okay. I don't know how you're using it, but most of the hold on.
I don't know how to turn it around.
Most of the time, it has either that button right here, this button right here, or a camera, and it flips.
Okay.
You see?
Okay, it made me. I don't know. I'm just turning it around. Look, can you see?
Okay, that's a lot of. But you need a shelf, girl.
That is a shelf. Look.
Now, I'm not thinking about a nice shelf.
So that's our 2 library. Yeah, we do need it. I want a house with like one of those built-in shelves, like library shelves and stuff like that, where you could just walk around. Like I want one of those.
Oh, that'd be nice. Like with that'd be nice though. Like the one with the stairs that you have to.
Yes, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I want one of those houses. But I mean, there's a lot of Black history. There's a lot of. I mean, they don't teach us about Cesar Chavez. They don't teach us about Che either. But you got to remember, they're never going to teach you things that will lead for you to overthrow them. So
I know that's true. You're correct.
You're not. Why would I teach you about Che? Why would I teach you about Castro actually helping the Africans in South Africa? Because I want you to hate Castro. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was okay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when we're talking about Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela had good things to say about Castro. You see what I'm saying?
I got good things to say about Castro.
Well, I don't know enough to speak on it. What I'm saying is, I know, as far as I know, with Castro, he was a dictator or whatever the case may be. But from what I understand, the education system was good, and the medical.
It's so good. You know what it is. I spoke to Cubans, and when I say, "Yo, what are you? Who was better, either Castro or Bautista?" They said they were both basically the same. The only difference between Bautista is that Bautista catered to the rich Americans.
Right.
If you were rich and you were American, there was a lot of corruption there.
Right.
That's what he catered to. And when Castro overthrew the Batista regime, he wanted everybody in Cuba to work.
Right.
So of course he had to get rid of those who were still with Bautista.
Right.
Either you with me or you're not with me.
Right.
That kind of sort of thing.
Right.
And back in 1980, I give you an example. Back in 1980, when AIDS first came out,
Right.
Castro, I thought it was kind of bad, but then I looked at it. Castro took everyone that had HIV, had AIDS. It's the same thing anyway. That had AIDS, and he built them a community, and that's what you're gonna stay. You got your school, you got your stores that you're gonna stay. I don't want you to spread it. And then a few years ago, I read that Cuba only has 1% of the AIDS in the whole entire world. 1%. And there's like 10 million Cubans there, and only 1% of the population too. Only 1% of the population has the virus. So it tells you that his thing worked.
Right.
You
So
know,
the problem is when you have down low people though. See, that's the only problem with that, because a lot of the times, well, yes, they let Mike Pence and them allow for AIDS to go rampant inside those communities, and Reagan and all of them, and George Bush Sr., because they could give a damn about that. But what ended up happening is a lot of them people, they was having wives and spreading it, and then remember they would the blood transfusions, and it was spreading to white communities. That's when
and when they say, whoa, you can't come here.
yeah, and that's a lot of things would happen with anything, is when the black community, the black trans community, with Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson, and they were fighting back, because a lot of times what was happening is the black people in that community were dying like flies. But then when the white community within that community started dying, it's like, oh, like you said, wait.
Yeah.
As long as y'all was dying, we good with that.
It's okay. It's okay.
We gotta.
It's a gay disease. That's the way they have it. It's a gay disease.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not.
Because I remember Ronald Reagan. In his years, when AIDS first came out, Ronald Reagan. I don't even think I think towards the end, that's when he said AIDS.
Yeah.
He didn't want to acknowledge. Nancy was different, but he didn't want to acknowledge anything about AIDS. And I want to say something about the AIDS thing because obviously I have it myself. The reason most people died is because, and this is what I believe, is that once they were told that they have AIDS, they just didn't care, and they just didn't. They just what they did was they took drugs, and one of the things that we didn't know then that we know now is that if my AIDS can be different from your AIDS, it's a different DNA, and your AIDS can be more powerful than mine. And if it overtakes my body, because the AIDS itself does not kill. AIDS itself does not kill. It just weakens your immune system.
Right, your T cells.
That's all it does. But what happens is that most people, when they heard the word AIDS, they got depressed. Their immune system went down, and when you got yourself a flu, you didn't have too many T cells for your body to fight. I can tell you that because I've known a lot of people. I knew this lady that got AIDS, and within a year she died. Why did she die? Because she got so depressed that she had AIDS that she just let herself go. But the way I think,
this is the question. You said what happened, but what would make her go to that situation?
I don't know. His nephew never told me. She never.
What I'm saying is, it takes a toll on you when you're treated like a pariah, when you're treated like a vector, when the situation that's going on with you, nobody cares about. You understand what I'm saying? The AIDS thing, and I mean it, and this is no different in certain cases when it comes to Black Lives Matter, because nobody wants to hear about it, nobody cares in certain cases, and it's better that you don't speak of it, because then that's going to make me have a conscience about what's going on and make me look at myself. So, and I'm not putting it on the same level as Black people and brown people and native people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the response to it is that the visceral response to a person just saying my life matters. How is that affecting you at all? It's not. I didn't say that Gio's life didn't matter, right? I didn't say that. All I said was shit. Can my life matter too? And the same thing with AIDS happened, to where it was happening to a certain community that was undesirables and untouchables, because the American society has a caste system as well. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people don't want to are delusional and want to think that we don't live in a caste system. We live in a caste system. And so when you're having those conversations, first of all, they were Black gay men that were dying like flies, like I told you. So nobody was in a hurry to find out what was going on. There were Black poor men and women that were dying, and Black and poor children that were dying. There were Hispanic, Latinx men, women, and children that were dying, and they didn't start caring until, what's his name, Rock Hudson, and all of them started catching it, and it was like, whoa, he was a movie star. And who else? Freddie Mercury, and oh wait a minute.
Yeah, but it hit the nail in the head when Rock Hudson came out.
Yep, remember that?
Of course I
I
do.
remember that.
He went. I remember he went all the way to France to get treated.
Right, exactly. And it's the same thing that's going on right now, is the fact with this COVID-19 thing. It was like, oh, as long as you poor people were dying or whatever the case may be, oh, that was okay. Wait a minute. White people is getting this? White people is dying, old white people is dying. And like now, the reason why they don't care about wearing masks is because, and I'm gonna say this, because the right people are dying. Okay, not saying that that's cool. I'm just telling you the truth. That if you was blonde and 21 and you were dying like flies over COVID, do you really think those people will be walking around here trying to kidnap governors over wearing a damn mask? They would.
That was
Let
that
let
that, that made me laugh because I wanted to see where the right party was. When they were like, that's like homegrown terrorism right there. But
Yeah. But
you
no,
don't
but
see,
that's okay. But that's okay.
but you don't see the right. You don't see the right wing saying anything about that.
Right. And you see that, right? You
Of
see
course,
that. And that's why I always tell, I was like, those white women, most, I'm not gonna say most because I don't want to do that, but a greater majority of American history, white women have been totally complicit with whatever was going on. Now we've been fed the bullshit of Miss Missy or Miss Amy that want to just teach Negroes how to read. But that's a lie, because 40% of all slave owners were women. Period.
that's true. I didn't know about that the other day. You put it on.
So you think that them calling, like we talked before. I was watching. You need to watch Saturday Night Live. What's his name, babe? Bill Burr. I'm gonna send it to you. And he spoke about, yeah, a lot of yo. I was in the house and I was feeling uncomfortable. I was like, damn, he putting white
Who was
women on
him?
there like
What's
that.
his name?
Bill Burr. He's a comedian. Don't worry about it. But he was on Saturday Night Live this past Saturday. So during his monologue, he was talking about white women. Like, I can't believe y'all are freaking out like this, because like I said, throughout American history and all the vileness and stuff that we did, you were sitting there right next to us. Don't act like you wasn't a part of it. Now sit down and take your talking to. I'll send that one to you too. It was so surreal, but it was the truth. That the thing with this Amy Barrett, whatever her name is, this Stepford wife that they about to confirm to
Yeah, for the judge for the Senate. I mean, for the
she
Supreme Court.
Right. She is totally complicit in what's about to happen. But let's be clear about this. Why are white women upset and wearing them what's the name of that movie that with the red,
Handmaid's
you know what I'm talking, the Handmaid's Tale? Because it was slavery for white women. You see what I'm saying? That show was slavery for white women. And that was a problem. So now she's telling you, I'm taking Roe v. Wade. I'm gonna push back everything that RBG did. See, now you're in trouble. See, now we gotta flip out. Not me.
Do you think she's gonna overturn Roe v. Wade?
I mean, what I'm gonna say is she's gonna do ACA first because that's gonna hurt more black people first. You see what I'm saying? And then she's gonna do vote Roe v. Wade. Oh,
But
she's doing it.
do you think you're gonna vote against ACA?
Yes, yes. That's why she's been put there. If you don't think that they,
There's a case coming up next.
yeah,
I was hoping that she would sucker Donald Trump and do a 360. Say, "No, I'm not doing that."
baby, you need to
Am I
stop
fooling
living,
myself?
baby, stop living in Candyland. Okay, wherever you live at, clearly you haven't been paying attention. But
Oh no
nine,
no 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 no! I paid attention. I know why he chose her. I know that. I know why he chose her.
then you
I
need to
was saying
say that.
I was saying to myself, maybe she'll do a 360 on Donald Trump.
That's not happening. Okay, she's a part of a cult that feel like women shouldn't be in charge of anything, and she feel like God's law is over all law. So what does that tell you? Like, listen, he picked the right one, baby, and that was the point. Like, to screw all of us. She's a privileged white woman that only tried cases for 2 years. You know that, right? She
I know
only
that.
tried cases. Yeah, look her up. This is the whole thing. What I be telling people, they always talk about, and this is why 2020 is so awesome. And even though I don't believe in God anymore, this is why I still think he has the fucking illest sense of humor. Because if you look at certain things during 2020, he has pulled back them. You know, you live in New York, where pull back them that aluminum foil and them roaches in your food.
Mhm.
That's why you don't leave nothing up there. That's what he did. He done pulled back that aluminum foil and he showed you all those little roaches. And she's a roach, just like the rest of them. And she's gonna do what she needs to do. She's gonna do what she needs to do to make sure she takes her part man because she's white children. She wants to make sure that they're taken care of. That's it.
Here I thought that she's gonna be different. Now you
I mean, I don't
disagree.
know. She is no different. She is no different than a Susan Collins, another white woman that's complicit. Melania Trump, you just seen what she said, fuck Christmas and fuck the kids at the border. Remember at one point in time, oh my God, blink twice if he's keeping you locked up. He's not keeping Melania. I knew she was trash. Trash. Ivanka is trash. Ivana Trump is trash. She just got cheated on. That's all that was. She was
The whole
trash.
Trump family trash.
Yeah, they're all trash. His dad was trash. This is the crazy thing when people talk about his dad, him, and
I heard his
his
grandfather
grand.
owned slaves.
I'm sorry.
I heard his grandfather owned slaves.
You breaking
You're
up. I
cutting
can't
out.
hear you.
You're cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know. Am I still cutting out?
You were frozen there like for 30 seconds.
Oh, no. What I was saying about Trump's grandfather, his dad, they all were trash. Trash. and his mom was an immigrant. So the crazy thing about it is that in all your wives were immigrant except for one. So what are you talking about, bro? I mean, it's just I was watching some. Well, I wasn't watching something today. Did you see where the first lady of, was it Pennsylvania or something? She got called the N word, but she's actually from Brazil. And I was like, yo, James Baldwin said the price of American citizenship is to hate the Negro. So this woman doesn't even look black, but she got called the N word because, again, white people don't care who you are. If you look like something different than them, that's who you are. I'm sorry to tell y'all that, but they don't like your ass either.
No, it's true. I understand that. Like,
So
I was up here one time with my wife, and this little old white lady. Well, she wasn't old. She was like not little. She was like 60 something, and they have this booth, and and they were selling stuff, and she had all Trump, and there's one old lady talking to another old lady, and they was like, well, those aren't really white people because they're not really taking care of their own, you know. So those aren't Trumpers, and I'm like, I wanted to say something, but my wife was there. I didn't want to get her involved. And I said, what are you? I want to say, what are you talking about? They're not white people because they're not because they don't. It doesn't fit your narrative. You have to be white with blue eyes, and they're gonna because they're going against what you believe in. Now,
yes,
you,
yes,
that's what you're really telling me?
yes. And
I
they're
mean,
serious
wow.
about it because if you think about it, Italians weren't white. If you think about it, nobody was white. And unless you came from over here or you was English or something, the Spanish from Spain, they weren't white. The Irish weren't white. Neither was people from Scotland. So I mean, at the end of the day, the price is assimilating yourself to what whiteness means, and a lot of times that's hating black people. Sorry to say it, but that's what it is. I mean, you know, I don't know what else to say about that.
How
But
did you marry?
everybody's gonna get their Negro wake up call
How
because
did
they
you?
hate
How
you.
did you? How did you marry the white guy?
So what happened was we met while I was still in the military, right? So neither one of us was conscious at that time. So a lot of the things that I'm telling you, I just started really studying up on in the last 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And then me being in the army at that point in time, you really couldn't say certain things and do certain things. So, you being in the military, you're in a bubble too. You have privilege because when you're in your uniform, people treat you like you are a real person and a real citizen. You don't find out till later on when you don't have your uniform on that no, you're N word to them. And to be totally honest, a lot of them hate seeing you in that uniform. So
So
with him,
in uniform was like, thank you for your serving us, and without
right,
uniform, you
right.
a
But
piece of
soon as
shit.
you take that off, they'll fight. I told you when I came back from Iraq, I was in my civilian clothes and they followed me around the coals. And I'm like, do you know I just came back from Iraq? Are you stupid? And so what ended up happening between the two of us was that Philando Castile was killed and Walter Scott that was killed? Alton Sterling was killed. And I was in Hawaii. Was you in California at the time? And I texted him, I was like, babe, what the fuck is going on? He was like, I know. I said, has it always been like this? He was like, yeah, I guess. And so it was an existential moment for both of us. And it was like, you see it, but you're so brainwashed to the point where it's like, well, the cops are not just going to shoot people for no reason. But that's a lie, a bold-faced lie. And you're taught to respect the police and all this. But you know what? In these years, like the police lie more than anybody I've ever known. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the police has never been friends to in our neighborhood, but I mean it's now documented over and over again that all y'all do is lie. You know, all you do is try to set people up. All you try, and even when it comes to black officers, you're either going to be blue or you're going to be black. Period. You're either going to be Hispanic or Latinx, or you're going to be blue. You're going to be Asian or you're going to be blue. Period. And so the whole culture is hyper masculine, toxic masculinity, hyper sexist, hyper racist. So, I mean, if you choose to do that, you do you, but understand that most of the quote unquote good cops that they have are either dead or they're fired.
I read something the other day. It was someone said if there were any good cops, they would these things that were happening now wouldn't happen. They wouldn't allow it. So there ain't
Exactly.
no good cop. There ain't no good cop.
If you was a good cop, you where are all these good cops when the bad cops are doing stuff? It's funny how they're never around. You know what I'm saying? They're never, all these people are getting killed. And I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about just people getting killed. Like, it's funny how those good cops are never around. It's like nobody knows a rapist. But 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will be the victim of sexual assault. But nobody knows a rapist. How does that happen? Is that just one person just raping everybody? Just saying. I'm just saying, like,
You're right. You're right. It's a valid point. But that's the that's the way it is. And in America, you said they're gonna get a wake up call.
that's what I'm saying. Like, the Asians got their wake up call with this COVID-19. And the thing about it is Godfrey, he made a video about it. And it's like, this is not our fight. Because when you was beating them black women's asses up in these nail salons, you didn't say, hey, y'all need to stop that. That's not what you did. What you did was help that other Asian person kick that black woman's ass. Okay? What you want me to do about it? Now, welcome to our world. Now, the thing with, another thing with when the things was happening at the border, it was hard for me to be like, that's not our fight. But I'm not gonna lie to you, in the back of my head, I'm like, that's not my fight. Because the first person I got called the N-word about was a Puerto Rican female. It wasn't a white person. And we was always beefing in the neighborhood with Puerto Ricans. It wasn't white people there to beef with. So for
In
me,
Mississippi?
I'm like, huh?
In Mississippi?
Man, I'm from New York, man. What are you
Oh, you from
talking
New
about?
York?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not from Mississippi. We talked about this before.
I forgot.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. That's what I'm saying.
So how did you end up in Mississippi?
Him, he's
He's
still in the
that good?
military. Huh?
I think he's that good to you that you ended up in Mississippi?
Yes, he is. He's
All
very,
right.
he's very good to me. He's
All right.
he's amazing. He really is. And but don't get me wrong, we had a conversation about it. It was like, what? What did you talk about? I'm not going to no Mississippi. You're crazy. But again, Hawaii, it was too expensive out there, and I was tired of being separated with him. So I was just like, okay. So, but again, my illusion of it was that it was gonna be some buck tooth, no tooth, white, with a wife beater on at the plane waiting on me. And it's not like where we live at is not like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Once you go out of this bubble of Hattiesburg, oh, it's like that. And so I thought I was gonna hear the music to Deliverance, dun, 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 as soon as I got off the plane. But it's a college town. So they're pretty, bougie and trendy type of friends, type of ambiance going on. So it's okay. It's okay. But they put they asses on their necks too out here a couple of times. That's why we don't, I told them I refuse to be in all white spaces anymore. Because once I'm in an all white space, I'm the what's
The
it
elephant in
called?
the room?
You said what?
The elephant in the room?
Yes, yes. Well, can you teach us how to dance? Like, I don't even know how to dance. What are you talking about? Or yeah, and I get fetishized like this one. Yeah, because I don't wear. I don't wear the same clothes as regular black people. Whatever I don't
Whatever that means, right?
whatever that means. And so I got tired of being a part of the black delegation that spoke for all black people. I was like, nope, we're not doing that. Because when you come around black people, they don't ask you questions like that. They don't even pay no attention to you, if anything. So that's our story here.
No,
But he's leaving.
that is true because I remember I was hanging out. I was in jail, and we were doing weed, right?
Right.
And they go, yo, Gio, roll this up. I'm like, I don't want to roll weed. He goes, what?
Exactly. Like,
He
why would
goes,
I
you,
know how
you,
to
you
do
Puerto
that?
Rican, you Puerto Rican, you don't know how to roll weed? And I'm like, no. You
No.
just I say, you're actually judging because I'm Puerto Rican. I said, so that means that because Puerto Ricans or you guys think that Puerto Ricans steal cars, I know how to steal a car? Come on, I don't know how to roll weed. What the fuck you want to do?
Yeah.
I always smoke weed.
Yeah, exactly. So you get fetishized and stuff like that. And then, because I do dress with the head wrap and stuff, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it's weird because it's like now I'm a little bit a step because now I'm exotic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I'm not like one of them regular black people. And so we went, where was we going, sweetie? When the lady asked me where I was from, remember that when we were sitting at the bar, I was out by myself. We went to a bar. I was working on something for Black Lives Matter. And so the lady, we had went somewhere to get a drink. You was with me. I think when we came back from Africa, we went somewhere. And so I had my head wrap on and everything. And she's like, where are you from? New York? Brooklyn? She was like, no, no, no. But where are you really from? New York, Brooklyn. And she was like, oh, you know how it is, the like deer in headlights look?
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, because I thought I heard an accent. Yeah, Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, saying like you didn't hear no accent from me, bro. You seen what I was dressed in, and of course I
You
look like a.
assumed.
I'm sorry.
I said she saw you when you were dressing, and she assumed.
Yeah, you just assumed that I wasn't like a lot of times.
I remember we were in the airport.
We was in the airport. Yeah, we was coming or going somewhere in the bar.
But she felt embarrassed. You could tell she was
Yeah,
embarrassed.
she did feel embarrassed. It was just because when I looked at her like Brooklyn. Like, what is, I know what you trying to say, Becky.
I know. You're
And
not
she
gonna get
was
into Africa, Brooklyn.
exactly. And she was a white woman with blonde hair. So when I called, in my head, I'm like, what you trying to say, Becky? It was like, all right, Karen, I'm not messing with you, Karen. They just leave me alone, Karen. But
How is
she,
Africa?
you said what?
How is Africa?
It's amazing. Oh my God, it's amazing. We went to Cabo Verde and we stayed there for 10 days and we gained so much weight and drank so much and ate so much and went to the beach and went to a volcano. Like all the places we went to a volcano. We went to like a safari drylands type of situation. We went to the beach where they have black sand and
Oh, that
and
might be nice.
yeah, it like I said, when people tell you it ain't no when I went to Laos, in Laos is more jungle than when we were in Africa. We was on a beachfront. It was amazing, yo. It was amazing.
He's gonna be living in Africa.
Yeah, and we're gonna live out there. Like I said, he's going. Shut up. He's going to the South Sudan in July. So he's gonna be out there for a year, and then he's gonna come back, and then we're gonna go live in Israel.
Why Israel?
Because that's where you got stationed at, and plus because it's close to Africa.
Oh, he's still in service.
Yeah, he's still in the military.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still in the military. So, we just like I said, I had no intentions on staying in this country anyway. And
I was watching. There's this guy that I sent a request to so I could do an interview. He's doing affordable housing in Ghana.
and where?
In Ghana.
Yes, yeah. I'm telling you, I don't know a lot. Like the other day, we was on this thing, and it was like, I'm not leaving here. We built this. Okay, you built it. Now what? Can you live in it? Are you making any money off of it? No, you just all you have to say is I built it. What do you think they're eventually just gonna leave or change their minds? They haven't changed their mind. You're nothing but a contractor. Period. That's all you are. A contractor can't come to your house and say, you know, I built this house. I'm taking it back. No, that it doesn't work like that. So as far as I'm concerned, they can have it, all of it, because all they're gonna do is eat each other up and destroy it like they always do. So let them have it. That's my thought process on that one.
To Africa, then you go to Jerusalem.
Yes, he's going to Africa. We're going to stay here because he's going on a hardship tour to South Sudan because you know they just came out of a civil war. And the crazy thing about it is, was it 60 tribes out there? In South Sudan, it's like 60 different tribes and they all speak different languages.
That's
But
cool.
their common language is Swahili. So we're learning how to speak Swahili now.
All your kids are grown, right?
No, I got the set of twins, and we got his son as well. Charlie is 11, and the twins are 12.
I wonder how there's going to be that transition.
I mean, the kids, well, Charlie's probably not going to go with us, but the twins, by the time we actually go, they're going to be 13, 14 years old.
By the time they get to Hawaii, or by the time they get to Israel, they'll be starting high school.
They'll be starting high school. So, I mean, it'll be one of those things where, you know, they traveled, like the twins have been to Rome, the twins have been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and all kinds of stuff like that. But they were so young, they don't remember any of that stuff. Like they've been all over, you know. And so it's one of those things I want to take them so they can see, you know.
Well, if they have that opportunity, hey, I would take that too. It's different, you know.
Yeah.
The monotony here with all that's going on, the racism here, the copying, it'll be so refreshing. You know, you don't have to hear the N word, you don't have to hear this, you don't have to hear that. The education system will be different.
Yes, definitely. And that's what I want for my children. You know, you're always gonna find racism somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Not like this.
Yeah, and like he was saying, we're only gonna be a few hours from Cairo. We can take them to different places, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about Egypt, so to speak, but Benin and Nigeria and Uganda and Ethiopia. We can take them to different places, and the fact that we're close to Europe too. Like I've been all over Europe, so for me, it's like, you know. You've been to Greece? Yes. Have you been to Spain? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Germany? Yes. The Netherlands? Yes. So for me, I just want to show them that so they can see that the world is bigger than living in this country. And everybody is not a total douchebag to you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right about that's what I was gonna say. But you know, I'm trying to stop cussing. So but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good no. It's a good if I had that choice, but like with my kids, when I was working with United Airlines, I wanted to go to so many places, but my kids are so boring. They don't want to go nowhere. They're like, if I took them to Disney World, oh, they'll have fun. But if I took them to Rome, or I took them to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, that's at least to one of them. It wouldn't to him and my daughter. It wouldn't interest them at all. Dad, this is boring. Dad, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know the law system in Europe, so I probably would get arrested and do life. You know?
Well, I can tell you right now, my kids, like, if we was going to go back to it, I'm Castro and we live in Cuba. You getting on this plane. I don't care how you feel about it. Let me know how that goes for you. Just
you
like
know, and before I close, you know that everybody in Cuba owns a house?
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody in Cuba owns a house. The only reason they show you the way Cuba is now because there's an embargo.
Yep.
How are they supposed to progress when they can have shit inside?
Yep.
So you're keeping them oppressed because of your decision, because of what Castro did thousands of years ago. Man, open the doors for these people. Let these people live.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing about it, I was watching you need to check out the African Diaspora News Network, right? So with the Africa Diaspora News Network, they were talking about Idi Amin, right? And how with Idi Amin, a lot of people think of him as a horrible dictator, right? But then when she started talking, I'm not saying he wasn't a dictator. What I'm saying is that the things that he did is what pissed them people off. Where there was a lot of Indian, like from India, that came over. The president that was there before just let them come over and take jobs, not take jobs, but you know how people come to America and they only hire their people. So it's not that they're taking jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you come to somebody else's country, like you come to Africa, but you won't hire Africans. So now all the businesses are run by these outside people. And he was like, no, that's not going to happen. You need to get up out of here. So he made a point of trying to kick all the Indians out. I'm not saying this whether he did was good or bad. I'm just saying that was his stance on it, right? Then
Looking at rich people.
yeah. And then the situation with the British, he was like, we kicking them out. You got to go because you've been oppressing us, and kick them out as well. And so he was doing the same thing with America. He was like, no, I don't want you here. Get up out of here. And so a lot of the things that he was doing, you know what I'm saying, was to make sure his people were taken care of. And I can understand that. I don't want no colonizer. It's a difference when people are coming, like in America. These people are not coming to take over. They're coming to get a better life. In that country, they were taking over industries and not allowing the native people that live there to prosper. So, I was just like, a lot of times when they talk about Castro and these other people, I'm like, it's the same way you talk about Haiti and a lot of these other small African countries, that you send people into these countries to start wars, take their money, like the French. A lot of these countries are poor because they have to send, the ones that are colonized by France have to send their 90% of their GDP in French banks. And
I
then what
heard about
happens?
it. I was talking to an African guy. He was
Yeah,
from Nigeria, and he said
yeah,
the only reason that Nigeria is not rich is because they send their money to France. And I'm
yep,
like, why?
yeah.
That's a
They
big
send their
why.
money to France because make them do it. And then what happens is, like you have, like in Cabo Verde, the China, not the Chinese, China owns their port. Why is China owning a port in Africa? Because they lent the Africans money and they know they can't pay it back. So they take, okay, no problem. I want you to give me your mineral rights, and we're going to take this port. So that's what's going on right about now. So, yeah.
I got you. I got you. And the only reason the American people didn't like Al Castro because Castro said, "I'll work with you, I'm not for you."
Exactly.
That's what he said. Yeah, I'm not gonna bow down and kiss your ass.
No, and the thing about it, everybody talks about the Bay of Pigs, right? And so I was watching this episode. Adam Ruins Everything is awesome. He did something he did one about the Bay of Pigs, and come to find out, the United States started that. The
I
United
know.
States started that in Turkey. They put missiles against Russia in Turkey. And then what happened was, that's when the Bay of Pigs happened out there. It was in direct response to that. Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
know.
send that to you. That's what I'm saying. They full of shit. JFK and his brother was a part of that foolishness. And then a lie gets around the world faster than the truth, and that's why a lot of people don't know that the United States was the aggressor in the Bay of Pigs.
They were also the aggressor in the bombing of Hawaii.
Yes, yes,
A lot of people don't.
yes,
A lot of people don't talk about that.
yeah. They were the
They
aggressor.
knew Roosevelt knew that the Japanese were coming because he enticed them.
Yeah, like I said, a
And
lot
then
of
he had
times.
the atomic bomb. He figured let them attack us, and then
Yeah,
we had the atomic bomb. And we'll try it out, and then that gives us the biggest space in the world to say not to fuck with us because we got this.
yeah. And
That's
a
what
lot
happened.
of times We the aggressor. Like I remember when I was, like I told you, I was a EO person, and I had to do different ethnicities. So one time I was doing Native Americans, and I always wondered, why was the Native Americans always attacking the cowboys or whatever. And then I started researching, like, oh, it's because you was messing with them and killing them and scalping them, and they should have done what they did to you. And so I was watching this thing. It was called the Battle of Wounded Knee, where they just plowed these Native Americans down. I mean, I get the Trail of Tears, but there was so many other things that they were doing. It was so many other different
When I
things.
see movies like that, it breaks my heart.
They were doing, like, they did it, the situation. So okay, now that we're talking about Indigenous Peoples Day, and then we can go, or you could close out. So Mount Rushmore, right, was originally the six grandfathers, right? So what ended up happening with that, it was, and I'll send you the information on what ended up happening with that, was they found gold in the mountains, and they wanted to kick the Native Americans out, and they was like, hell no. Now you remember they beat Custer and all that, but that was about money, because they wanted to secure the gold in those hills, and they were sending out miners and all kinds of stuff, building roads out there to get the money. So what ended up happening is America did a sell or starve campaign on, as I think it's the Lakota, the Sioux. I thought I was both of them. It was the Lakota and the Sioux. And what happened was they did an embargo on them and starved them. And that's how that guy got Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
That's what happened with that. So that's why on Indigenous Peoples Day, I support them. Like, fuck Columbus and fuck Mount Rushmore.
Oh, fuck
How about
Christopher
that?
Columbus. Christopher Columbus is an idiot.
And it's this book that I have. It's called The People's History of the United States. And I was reading it on one of my casting that I do, right? And the thing about it was, when he first stepped on to the ground, he seen the Taino Native Americans. The first thing he thought about is that we can take them with 50 men and make them slaves. That was his first thought process.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's
Well,
typical.
that is another thing. That is typical. Well, let me let you go.
All right.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Say hello to your husband, though I haven't met him. Well, hopefully one day I'll get a chance to. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Anytime, sir.
I'll see you tomorrow. I know tomorrow you'll be on Facebook.
Yes, I will.
All right.
Talk to you
Thank
later.
you. Bye.
All right.
All right, guys, that was my live. Thank you, Anastasia, for watching the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. And for those who are going to watch it later on, thank you very much. And yo, right to vote, rock to vote. If you have not voted yet, vote. I mean, if you're going to vote, do it by mail-in, whichever way you feel comfortable. And if you're not a registered voter or you don't think you're a registered voter, go to vote.rog and find out if you are a registered voter. If you're not, it'll tell you you are, and you're not a registered voter. You can start to vote. And let's make 2020, let's change the whole entire system, because this monotony, this got to go.